All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So we're gonna do a viewer request here, looking at DJT, SOFI, and NKLA. All right, and markets aren't doing that well right now. Okay, and it makes sense that this one's on a downtrend. I think SOFI is relatively horizontal, but nothing spectacular. And then NKLA, what went from trying to break them all and fly is looking at losing them all and die, right? So the market, I always say, is like the ocean, and our little individual stocks that we love to trade are the boats in the water, right? And choppy waters make it harder to sail, okay? You can see it here. Technicals still matter even in a bad market, right? I always say that this 200 line is a strong line for a reason, and I think today kind of showed us again why it is, right? But I've got to lean to the market more than the individual stocks, and that's going to kind of be the echo across these three, all right? But before we go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms, especially if you can share the video. It really does wonders, all right? So let's get into it. And look, I always say this when I start talking about what used to be DWAC, what is now DJT, kind of the same with fun as well. But look, I'm not here to give you my opinions about Donald Trump, all right? I'm not here to like argue if he's good, bad, gonna be president, this, that. Look, none of that matters, okay? What does matter are, I think, 2 things on this one, all right? Number 1, Donald Trump is he's an amazing person at getting headlines and getting attention. Whether it's good or bad, he can bring eyes. And in my world, in our world, our trading world, eyes means volume. All right. And Trump's in the news right now. Look, it's not great headlines, right? But yeah, there's a trial. There's going to be a lot of focus on this trial. I have no idea how many days it's going to be, right? This, that, and those. But there are eyes on Trump right now, and I always say it: when Trump is in the news, you look at this stock. All right. I think the other thing is, and again, I'm going to say this with love, okay? I consider this a silly ticker. Okay, I do, right? This is not I don't need to justify. You know I'm not saying that with offense, all right? But I think silly tickers do really well in a bad market, and we're looking at a bad market right now, right? What does that mean? Just look at the S&P 500. That's a bad candle after the doji, right? Look at the Dow Jones, DJ30. That's not a great candle, and we're actually, teetering on confirming that 100 being lost, right? Let's look at the NASDAQ. Let's look at NASDAQ. Like, that's a bad candle after that doji right there, right? And we'll talk about this one a little bit more on the next 2 specifically, right? But we're looking at really bad majors, all right? We're looking at really bad major indices, and that to me says bad market, okay? Look, green, pretty much nothing. Red. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can maybe come back with like another little bit of green here, all right? So I'm going to start down here. I do not like this MACD and RSI. That's real bad divergence, right? I want the good divergence where green is going up and green is looking good, right? That's definitely a negative number on the MACD, but that's a low number on the RSI, okay? And as I zoom out, oof. Oh man, we've been as low as 6 basically a year ago. All right. How about you? How low did you get? 15. Okay, we're a little bit lower than this. Maybe the 200 moving average could give us a good little bounce and maybe actually take us back up to this 30-50, 30-60 line. I could actually see that happening. Again, just baby red to green, okay? I don't know if we're going to get over it, but if this gets over 33, like, yeah, 15, 20, you can see it's 33.09 in the box over there. But if this gets over the 100 moving average, oh man, that right there is another nice channel, because you can see this horizontal, even if you go just a little bit lower on it, you're basically on those moving averages right there anyways, right? So I think I'm going to lower that line to there is what I'm going to do, because I can see those two lines coming down steep, but I actually like where that is. I do. Look at that. We're basically the top of that, bottom of that. I'll take that. I think that's a good line. Yeah, so look, for now, if this continues up, and look, I see after hours pretty much holding. There's nothing really going on in after hours, coming down a little bit. I think that's insignificant for sure. But yeah, if this thing continues on up, I think it's going to want that 30.50. And look, you're adding $4 here. That's almost another 20% right there, right? I'm kind of rounding. Maybe you can say another 15, give or take, right? But that would be a nice move. And again, if that breaks, that could be interesting. And look, I don't know if it will. I think these lower indicators make me kind of say no. But green, 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 a lot of nothing, red, 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 red. That's a good line as well, right? So one more time, I think as Trump is in the news, you got to keep your eyes here. Let's see what the 200 moving average does. Listen, if bad things happen, that means we're going to lose 24.30. I do not like this stock under 24.30. All right, that's a scary place to be. Hopefully we keep on going up. My cat needs to get out. What are you doing? What are you doing? Let's go. Let's get you out of here. Oh, another one's coming on in. Hi. All right, let's make the video for the people. Okay. Let's take a look at the weekly really quickly. Oh, look at that. Where are you at? 22. Where's 22 on this? It's a little lower than that. It's right here. I don't think we need to draw that line. I don't think that's much of a line to draw, actually. No, I like this. I think this is good. Hey, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Let's come into SOFI, all right? So, hey, really, really quickly, if you can please subscribe, if you can please share. Oh, man, it does wonders with the algorithms, all right? So let's get into SOFI. You know, it's funny. I feel like SOFI almost has this like cult following behind it, all right? I have found myself getting attacked a little bit more often saying bad things on SOFI than almost any other stock, all right? And I don't care. I'll be real honest with you. My wife is always like, how do you like see all these people be mean to you and like still smile and stuff? I got no idea. I'm okay with it, right? But I more than anything, and I say this with love, I really do, and I say this as a person who lost so much money on a fanboy stock back in the day, but it's real scary when there is a stock that blocks negativity and only focuses on the good, and it feels like SoFi is that. All right, now listen, I live in LA. I like the SoFi Stadium is here, right? Like Herbie, the quarterback for the Chargers, the LA Chargers, he's basically one of the mascots for SoFi, right? Like I like SoFi. Everyone says real good things about the CEO. Look, my wife is Indian, man. I know Indians are going to control the world because they're excellent. Their standard for excellence is beyond. You know what I mean? So yeah, I hear it all. I don't disagree with any of it. The problem with SoFi has been and continues to be the way that this thing just reacts to the moving averages. All right, and what I'm about to say this goes to any stock. Okay, I don't care if it's 3 letters, 4 letters, or 5 letters. When there are too many moving averages too close, it's uncontrollable. It is, and I call it a tornado because you see it fly up, fly down, fly up, fly down, and what's now starting to happen is an inability to fly up as much as we could, and that scares me. Again, very, very randomly, it might take us up. I'm telling you, I've seen the craziest of crazies when all 5 lines are as tight as these, all right? You can also start to say that the tightness is loosening up, all right? And clearly we're actually under them all, right? So if this is loosening up, all we're going to do is ride the 8 and 20 down, in my opinion. You know what I mean? But SoFi is still living in these channels, right? And that's not the way I trade, but I've said it. Look, people I'm sure are making good money buying down here, selling up here, buying down here. And hey, like I said, it's not going up as high, so maybe things are starting to adjust, right? But yeah, this is still where it's living, and I've said it a couple times on most stocks. On I would say 9 out of 10 of the random stocks that I cover, I always say, look, I'll just wait for a little bit above them all and be happy. Listen, I've been saying it on the last few SoFi videos and nothing changed. I would not touch this stock under this line. I think this is a scary, scary stock under 920. I do. I need this to break. I need to feel like this is no longer a resistance and this is now a support. Once we're over that line, I will believe that there's more. All right. And again, this thing could make moves if it wants to, right? And right now, this stock is simply at the mercy of the lines. All right. So we talked about the earnings on the last video as well, right? So there was this gap up of really, really good that never really manifested to much. I don't remember if SoFi already had their next round of earnings or not. I really don't remember. This last one happened at the end of January, so maybe my guess is it's going to happen at the end of this month. I can't tell if like this doji was something or not, right? But unless this gets some good news or this gets some good earnings or this gets some sort of something, my biggest concern with this stock are the indices. Like, that's a scary NASDAQ right there. That's a NASDAQ that's just now getting a negative MACD. The RSI, look, I know 30 seems low, but I know that this thing has been lower and not that long ago. Look, you can see that we were in the 20s only a couple months ago, right? So volume has been pretty bad. We're not even hitting the 50-day, let alone the just really bad sell the last kind of, what is that, 3, 5, 6 days, right? So, I mean, I still see NASDAQ coming down. It looks like we're coming to 15.5. It really does. From there, the question is really going to be, is this line going to do much or are we going to lose it? And I talked about it on yesterday's video. The last time, that line didn't do much. So I am actually a little bit worried about the line, all right? And look, even if you want to call SoFi like a bank and you want to say, hey, it's a little bit more of like a traditional stock, look, S&P 500 ain't much prettier. It really isn't, you know what I mean? And I actually drew the line on the SPY. We almost wicked that new line. Either way, I didn't draw it on the S&P 500 because same thought, right? Like, these are both still coming down. If SoFi can't beat the moving averages and the major markets and the indices are coming down, that's a bad mix. It really, really is, all right? So as it stands, it almost looks like we're going to lose 720, okay? And if we lose 720, I would expect us to come down to 650. I think that's actually a decent line to draw because it's basically the bottom of this thing. And it's a good little like cluster right there. It's not that much, and really, it's a green, 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 red, 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 green, green, green. I don't know if this is a dumb line to draw. I'm gonna delete that line. Maybe 655, 650 is gonna be enough to hold. I think it's gonna be this was a fast move up, a pretty fast move down, and a fast move up. I can see it being a fast down. You know what I mean? So, SoFi, I think there are way more reasons to worry here than to feel good. So where's the weekly? Oh man, there's so much going on 702. Look, I didn't even talk. Look at this resistance, all right? Just look at this thing, okay? We've 1, 2, 3, 5, that's fine, 4, 5. This is now the 6th time we've hit this 702 line. I talk about don't break the ice. I talk about Jenga. You can only attack a certain spot before it just loses too much power. I don't know how much more power this 702 line really has. That's a lot. It's a lot of hits. It's a lot of bounces. This line has been a champion of champions, all right? I don't know how much more it can take. Like, it's like a boxer. How many face shots can you take before you go down, right? How many more analogies am I going to make? I apologize. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Let's take a look at Nikola. Oh, man, what looked like a beautiful attempt at trying to break the 200 quickly has us under them all, right? What a night and day change, all right? So really quickly, if you can please subscribe, if you can please share, it does wonders for the algorithms, all right? So man, a very, very night and day chart right here, right? I remember making the video saying, hey, it really looks like there was going to be a move up. I remember watching this thing. It's crazy, right? Like, this 8 moving average did so much to try to hold it. You see the dojis right on the line as well, and then boom, you get the hammer drop right here on the 11th, right? To me, this 11th candle, I care way less. Look, yeah, sorry, I can't click and move. This was a 26% day loss, right? Like, I care less about the percent drop and more the fact that, look, we were on the line, right? So in my head, we actually lost 4 moving averages on a single candle and then basically confirmed with those 2. You know what I mean? So that alone was not a big candle. That alone was not enough for me to say what we 4 and that, but those 2 right there are pretty bad. They really are. And look, I think yesterday tried to do its best with some sort of doji. My problem actually is we closed down here. We closed under that entire green. Like, look, you can see it. If I click right there, that's the open, right? Let alone the close being there. But we completely ate yesterday's doji. So to me, I think that string right there is confirmation that we're below. All right. So what does that mean to me? I mean, look at this thing, right? Like, we are on the verge of all-time lows. And oh man, I can't tell where to draw this line. I'll be real honest with you. I think it's this. I think that's our line. Yeah, that's our line. Look, I was focusing on that right there. It's also the bottom of that guy right there. I'm expecting this to come to 59 cents. 59 cents clearly is not the all-time lows number, okay? Obviously, all-time lows would be somewhere down here. What's that number? 52, 51 and below, right? If we lose 59 cents, I think that's going to be a really, really, really scary and fast drop into the black hole vortex that is all-time lows, all right? My expectation if we lose that line is we'll lose 20% and then another 20% until something happens, all right? Again, I just flashed it on NASDAQ. Look, this is Nikola. This is an EV. This is a very technology-based stock, all right? NASDAQ ain't looking good. If you want to call Nikola a transportation stock, if you want to say, no, it's not like a tech EV thing, it's more of this like transportation thing, S&P 500 ain't doing well. So you've got an issue on the tech side, you've got an issue on the overall side. That has me worried for a stock that is under all the moving averages on the daily, that has now slipped into a negative MACD, that's had horrible volume, right? And look at the weekly. We're under all 5 on the weekly as well, right? Clearly it all happened last week. You can argue this isn't quite confirmation, but again, I think I gotta take it on the daily and you know, go from there, right? So, you know, I'm not like, this one's a little more doom and gloom, obviously, because this one's a little bit about all-time lows, right? I genuinely believe markets recover. I do, right? Like, that's why I trade. That's why I love this. I know things go up. You just sometimes got to be patient and watch the down, or have a plan and stick to it. You know what I mean? So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Even if you disagree, hey, thank you so much.